So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher.
He signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
We're going crazy.
So young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did to Usher. A lot of this coming out via multiple lawsuits that essentially, if we were to put it in a nice context, or at least use a euphemism for something that's really disgusting, the allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher into hot.
Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, he could buy you one also while you're out.
Got me a Lamborghini.
That's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
The moment this footage resurfaced, everything changed. What people once brushed off as a funny celebrity moment suddenly felt uncomfortable, almost unsettling, and it forced many people to view Justin Bieber's early years in a completely different light. In the clip, a young Justin, only 15 years old, is sitting next to Sean Diddy Combs while Diddy proudly talks about having him for 48 hours, saying they're about to go completely crazy. At the time, people dismissed it as harmless, like a powerful figure mentoring a rising star. But watching it now, knowing everything that's come out, it feels different. And when Candace Owens saw it, she didn't hold back. She immediately called it out for what she believes it truly was, saying this wasn't mentorship. This wasn't guidance. This was something much more troubling hiding in plain sight. Candace didn't ease into it either. She went straight after the clip, pointing out how strange it is for a grown man to brag about having custody of a teenager who isn't even his child. She questioned why a 15-year-old kid who just became famous from singing online would be spending that kind of time with someone like Diddy, especially without any obvious supervision. And the more she broke it down, the stronger her reaction became. She pointed at Justin's body language in the video, the way he laughs awkwardly, the way he looks unsure of what to say, and she made it clear she doesn't see that as a kid having fun. She sees it as a kid trying to navigate a situation he doesn't fully understand while being surrounded by people far more powerful than him. What really pushed Candace over the edge was realizing that this wasn't hidden. This wasn't something that surfaced years later in secret. This was filmed. This was public. This was right in front of everyone. And yet, nobody stepped in. Nobody questioned it. Nobody asked why this situation was even happening in the first place. Instead, it was turned into entertainment. People laughed, shared the clip, and moved on. Candace called that out directly, saying the entire industry failed Justin in that moment. According to her, when you have managers, executives, and adults all around a young artist, their job is to protect him, not place him in questionable situations, and pretend it's normal. Then she brought up another clip that made things even worse. In that video, Diddy confronts Justin about not answering his calls, saying he hasn't been hanging out the same way they used to. Justin tries to explain that he never had Diddy's number directly, and the exchange feels tense, even if it's played off like a joke. Candace focused on that moment hard, saying it shows a clear imbalance of power. You have a teenager trying to respond carefully, while a major industry figure is pressing him. And she made it clear that's not how a normal relationship should look. In her words, It felt like pressure, not friendship, and she couldn't understand why nobody around them stepped in to set boundaries.
Did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I'm never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything.
Months ago, I was really struggling mentally and emotionally, and just there was so many things that were adding up, and I wasn't able to enjoy any of the things that I owned.
That stuff's not gonna matter to you.
None of the actual things did anything because I was so hurt and I was so confused and I was so sick, and there was all these things, and I was like, I can't, there's like, you just can't, like you said, you can't enjoy the actual physical, tangible, like, things that money offers, right? Like, it really had to come from within. So that's I guess our perspective. And I think knowing that, like, going back to like my faith in that time, like, I feel like I couldn't have, like, it wasn't, I don't know. It just wasn't money and stuff that got me through it. It wasn't all the things. It was like taking the initiative to say, I'm struggling. I need help. Who do I turn to? Who can I call?
As her reaction continued, her frustration quickly turned into outright anger. She began connecting it to the bigger picture, explaining how Justin Bieber entered the entertainment industry as a kid with no experience, no understanding of how the business worked, and was instantly surrounded by powerful people who had influence over nearly every aspect of his life. She argued that when someone that young becomes famous that quickly, they become extremely vulnerable, and instead of being protected, they can easily be taken advantage of. That's when she connected it to the recent lawsuits and allegations surrounding Diddy, saying that when you view those claims alongside the old footage, it creates a completely different picture from what people believed back then. Candace also pointed to Justin's behavior in the years that followed, the struggles, the public breakdowns, and the moments when people labeled him as out of control. She strongly pushed back against that narrative, arguing that maybe everyone had been looking at it the wrong way from the start. Instead of asking what was wrong with Justin, she said people should have been asking what happened to him. Because when you see a teenager placed in uncomfortable situations while surrounded by pressure, fame, and powerful influences, it can leave permanent scars. And in her opinion, Justin's later struggles didn't simply appear out of nowhere. They were connected to what he experienced during those early years. One of the most emotional moments in her reaction came when she brought up Justin's heartfelt interview years later, where he spoke about wanting to protect Billie Eilish from going through what he went through. Candace played that clip and then paused, letting the moment sink in before saying that it explained everything. Justin didn't go into specific details. He didn't mention names, but the emotion in his voice was undeniable. And to Candace, That was evidence that a much deeper story existed beneath everything people saw on the surface. She said, "You don't become that emotional unless something truly affected you." And she believes that interview was Justin indirectly revealing just how difficult and painful his early experiences really were.
And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly believe that Justin Bieber is a victim. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. I can show you a still from that video because I think the relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober. He is clearly very heavily under the influence at this party. And if you remember that lawsuit that the producer Rodney dropped against Diddy, he said that unbeknownst to all of these people, they were being drugged at Diddy's parties, that they were pouring out the liquor bottles and replacing it with other drugs.
I gotta feel that experience. I'm coming back. It's all good. Happy New Year!
Woo! Unearthing videos of Justin Bieber at Diddy parties. Now, Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry, extremely innocent when he entered the industry, an industry that he did not quite understand as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube. Then he was scooped up and suddenly he was a part of people like Diddy going after him and saying, "Hey man, why don't you pick up my phone calls?" There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin Bieber looks to be like 15 years old and said, "Why aren't you picking up my phone calls?" And he's like, "Oh, I know you were trying to contact me through people and I don't have your number." And the next thing we know, Justin is at Diddy's parties.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, through all my, business, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Correct. Okay.
My number?
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you my number.
Yeah.
Moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you
New
over
York
to
City.
something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's what it
Camp.
was called. And you're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
From there, she pushed even harder against the industry, saying this isn't just about one individual. It's about a system that allows influential figures to operate without ever being seriously questioned. She argued that people remained silent because of power, because of connections, because challenging someone like Diddy could potentially destroy careers. And that silence, in her view, is exactly what allowed situations like this to continue happening again and again. She didn't hold back whatsoever, saying the responsibility doesn't belong only to Diddy. It belongs to everyone who noticed the warning signs and decided to look the other way. As her rant reached its most intense point, Candace turned directly toward the audience and asked a question that landed hard. She said, "If this was your child, if your 15-year-old son was being placed in that situation, would you be okay with it?" And the answer is obvious. No parent would accept that. No normal situation would ever justify it. And that's what made her so furious. The fact that in Hollywood, things that would never be considered acceptable in everyday life somehow become normalized simply because of fame and influence. By the end of her reaction, Candace made it clear she believes the truth is finally beginning to surface. With lawsuits, with people speaking out, with old footage being examined again, she said the narrative is shifting. What used to be ignored is now being questioned. What used to be laughed at is now being taken seriously. And she believes that change is long overdue because at the center of everything is Justin Bieber, a kid who entered the industry with talent and dreams and found himself in situations that never should have existed. She finished by saying, "This isn't about gossip. It's not about drama. It's about accountability. It's about recognizing that something wasn't right, even if people didn't want to admit it at the time." And now that the footage is circulating once again, now that more information continues coming to light, she's no longer staying silent about it. In her words, the truth was always there. People simply chose not to see it. But now it's impossible to ignore.